We are back with another cop banger, and we're going to take a look at something that is going to raise like a good conversation here. I hope that we'll have a good, honest conversation about this and the future of this and what Blizzard needs to change and how this should work. Let's take a look at another failure where we get a little bit of voting, a little bit of arguing. I think you know where this is going. Let's get right to it. Cop always sets it up for us, so we're going to have that set up yet again. He says, I wanted to try an 11 key just for giggles before raid on stream, so I get accepted into an 11 Dawnbreaker. The healer that gets picked is a longtime viewer of both of ours. It is Luna. You may recognize her. She has submitted a lot of amazing runs. We wait an extremely long time for the tank roll to fill. Long enough that I think the key holder just took the first semi-qualified person they saw, even though it was a Prot Warrior and one of the DPS was a Fury Warrior. I think it's the actual group leader. Yet the group leader is the Warrior. It gets worse as apparently we now have no battle res in the group, so a couple people agree that we're going to have to use Goblin jumper cables. So they're talking about that now. You see, okay, cool, I got some too, talking about Goblin jumper cables. The tank is like, we no die, we zug. Oh yeah, I believe you. Everybody agrees. They say zug, 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 and then Cop says work complete. That's a different faction, brother. Okay, so Quel'Thalas Fury Warrior, who invited the Warrior tank, is starting the ready check. They're ready to go here. We actually take a little moment. Cop takes a moment to inspect everybody or kind of just hover over them. So this Quel'Thalas Warrior is 1600 with the tank designation. They're doing like no keys as DPS, I guess, other than this one. Hunter is 2690, has a 12, but still needs this key. Luna has all 11s, it looks like, 2681. And then the tank that we invited is only 1800. Probably means they don't, yeah, they only have 4 times 10s. The weird thing is this title. Look at this title. I've never seen this before. Roy Boy Terran Mill Terror. What is that? That would be way more fitting for somebody who actually is on Terran Mill, right? We're gonna have our first death on the first pack here, and it's because it looks like we've aggroed the stuff on the right. Did you see that? I'm just gonna hide the webcam for a little bit. You guys will be all right. Don't worry, I'll be back. The Hunter's pets. You see the Hunter's pets? Look at, they're actually running over there. So now that trash is just like owning this guy, just spamming night bolts at him. Hits him with 4 night bolts. We also bloodlusted that pack, by the way, in case nobody saw that. So typically this is where you bloodlust. This is also where you zoom all the way the fuck in. I have no idea. So you can't see anything. Cop, just zoom out, brother. Anyway, we're fighting it all. The Shadow Mage has now been like ring a piece away from the pack, so this is not helping. We're not kicking it very much at all. And Medellin is going to go down. The big film from Vinny Chase there going to go down. I'm not as convinced that they didn't get in combat with that trash that killed that guy. I don't know, because I've seen that happen and then it stays in combat for the whole dungeon. But the tank is also going to go down as the second person to go down, and we're going to have a full wipe. Medellin down again. Look at this. He actually comes back. This is actually common. We've seen this a lot in season 1 where they come back. They jump down. I saw many people do that in season 1. So we are now going to have 7 deaths. 7 deaths. By the way, tank dies as the second. I mean, the Hunter died. That's bad. But the tank died, that's worse. And the comment that it gets made is 5 million DPS is tough. Is it? Are you sure? That's pretty decent, I think, for an 11 with no bloodlust. Are you sure? Is that the comment you want to make right now? Okay, cool. So Tank is drawing the line in the sand. He died because you guys didn't do, what, 10 million DPS? A really big issue here, just didn't kick. I mean, if you go back and look at the footage, you'll see that nobody kicked that mob. It didn't get kicked. It just straight up didn't get kicked. These night bolts just going off over and over and over again, and Medellin in danger again, getting it chained on there really bad, getting hit by a lot of spells. Also, look at this absolute nonsense that Cop's screen looks like, by the way. He's playing with this stupid ass arachnophobia MOBA. Look at this thing. Surukai Webmage. It's a giant lobster. This is the dumbest feature in the entire video game. All right, here we go. First person mode on the first boss. That's fitting, right? We have to fast forward halfway through the fight before we see our first issue, but they are coming. I promise you that. We got the orbs all over the place, by the way. This fight must suck for these affixes. And Medellin, again, down. He gets the dispellable debuff, and it just maybe takes a little bit too long to dispel. 5 million health there, 4 million down. Down by his obsidian beam, and then we're going to struggle to get the healing stuff off everybody else. We're gonna onk though, so we're back up. And again, we have no battle res, right? This was the conversation. We don't have a natural battle res at least, but we run over there. Somebody runs over there and uses jumper cables, and then they take the res literally right as it's dispelled, and now we're back in the exact same position. Like literally, it's hilarious. Watch this. I try to like pause it. Watch, like how I'm pausing it. The second they come up, it gets dispelled. But so now we have the healing debuff on top of being very low health, and then the 2 people are again going to die to the obsidian beam, the exact same situation that killed them the first time. So that ultimately cascades into a full wipe. Now 14 deaths in the 11 Dawnbreaker, and again, peekaboo, I'm gone. Abandoned instance, question mark. Who do you think put that there? I'm gonna go ahead and guess the Warrior tank. Nobody's saying anything, and nobody has said anything other than the Warrior tank, who is not even qualified for this key, honestly, but he's the only one who seems to have a problem with it. Everybody else might have voted no, to be honest. Like, honest, I think he might be the only one who voted yes. But here it begins. This is, you know how this goes now. It's gonna do this nonsense. He goes, what are we doing? Question mark. We're continuing on with the key. The vote failed. That's what happens. Now, the warrior DPS indicate that he's confused by the question. It's possible that he also voted to disband, but I don't think so, because if he did, they would have won, right? So he says, I don't know, wondering the same thing. Focus. Referring to the fact that we wiped there. Like, this is just basic, like, here, let's try to be a good teammate. Let's encourage each other, right? There's nothing going on here. Nothing toxic going on here, at least. Okay, here's the comment. We are literally doing season 1 damage. That's really funny he brings that up, because we actually just reviewed a Dawnbreaker where I actually compared it side by side. And I'm going to tell you right now, the people in this group are not doing season 1 damage. It's really, really weird, though, when tanks focus on damage like that. Like, we just had 2 people die to the same mechanic twice, and you're talking about DPS? Like, are you even aware of what killed them? I don't think so. I think that's truly what's happening here. But you see how hard it is for her to get this healing thing off. Medellin and Cop are just going to linger with this for a long time. And because they lost, they actually have it go out at an inopportune time, and so they dispel it right before they fly away. And we know this is like the worst part, because now everybody has the debuff. Luckily, Cop was pretty high health, but yeah, Medellin not. So we're going to come back to the platform with people at absurdly low health here, and we're going to have... Oh, we get it off them. I was so sure that that guy was going to die again. We actually salvaged that. That's crazy. I set that all up assuming that guy was going to die, and he didn't die. So that's good healing, good effort on Luna's part there. Anyway, we killed the boss this time. Good work. Let's move on. Bloodlust definitely helped there a lot. Everybody's doing like over 2.5 million DPS, so it's a lot better. Here's a pro tip for you. Cop flying around without dragon riding, just flying around with steady flight or whatever. If you fly around with dragon riding, it's oftentimes going to be hard to steer and move properly. So we're landing here. I've never seen this, but apparently this is a common place to land now, and you're going to fight this pack up here. And now we're going to fight these 2 guys here. All right, cool. We're going to drag these into those guys over there, and then combine that into this pack. All right, cool. That's a pretty good pull right there. I like that. All right, cool. Yeah, that's pretty good. I honestly may be changing the route in here, because I'm not really happy with Dawnbreaker this season, and so season 1 route I feel like is not doing me well. So yeah, we're looking for new options. If anyone has any suggestions, this seems like a pretty good option. I actually like this. A lot of people have been suggesting doing this trash here. People also been suggesting fighting trash during the last boss. I definitely don't think I want to do that, but it does sound very interesting. All right, anyway, we went the full time here without any actual problems. We're gonna have the warrior die there. I'm not really even sure what he dies to, frankly. Probably just a lack of kicks. And then I think, I don't know, Cop like runs into a frontal here. He's trying to dodge the orb. I really don't like fighting in this hallway, but he tries to dodge the orb, and then I don't know, it looks like he's out of this frontal. Maybe he doesn't die to the frontal. Does he just die to the cast? I'm not really sure, but he dies to something that doesn't seem obvious to me right now. So that's 2 more deaths on a pack that's probably looked at as one of the more dangerous pulls. We get back, and we're gonna have 1 more while we're still like kind of salvaging this. It looks like the ball is gonna actually like hit a Luna for more than 1, like it's gonna run over her, and she's gonna get 2 stacks of that. Watch the health there. So 2 stacks, taking lots of damage, and then the ball hits behind us and kills her. So we've chained into the next pack, and we don't have a healer right now, so that's gonna lead to even more deaths. Warrior is gonna be the first to go down here. Again, not really sure to what. I think just like, yeah, not having a healer really is the answer. And then Cop's got the ball, which he does like accurately draw down the wall, but it doesn't matter because he's dead. So a bit of a calamitous moment in this key. 20 deaths now. Gonna have our 21st before we get back. Healer's gonna die again. I think I don't even know. Just getting back and just chain dying here, and Warrior ultimately gonna go down as well. And again, tons and tons of mistakes. You could point out a dozen things that could go wrong here, and honestly, interrupting still remains a big issue. And here's the Warrior's comment. He says, "This is wild." Oh yeah. Here's an abandoned vote. Comes again. So the abandoned vote comes up, immediately fails. The Warrior DPS says, "Let's finish it, please." Okay, so that confirms to us that he's the reason that it's not passing one way or the other. And for now, the Warrior tank seems fine with that. So he's going to charge in. We're going to continue to fight the mini boss. Now we kind of move him around to get the second pack, and this, I guess, just confuses Cop or something. He says he'd never seen anybody fight it at that angle, so he didn't realize that it was not going to work, but it basically just runs right into the wall. And Medellin, again, only person to actually die to that is Medellin. I guess because we're fighting here, we're just going to like fight here, and the patrol is just going to walk right into us. I don't really know. I don't know what the goal in this area actually is at this point, but we aggro a patrol, and then aggro's a second pack. So like, did you mean to tank it there? Because like now at this point, I guess, I don't know, is the tank just like doesn't care anymore, or is he trolling? I don't really know which, because a lot of people suggest that like if the tank doesn't want to do the dungeon, there's a lot of ways he can sabotage it so he can't finish. So the Warrior DPS is now going to comment on this and say, "Bro, tank, please pull them back." Luna asks if this was intentionally trolling. "There's no need to stand in the middle of the plaza," says the Warrior DPS. Now the weird part is 2 people show as offline. It's really weird. All of a sudden, the 2 people just talking are offline. So this makes me wonder, does this guy have deep connections for Blizzard and he's getting them removed from the online service? That's very interesting. They both come back, and now the guy says this: "GG's, y'all. I got to go. Too much time. I have raid." All right, well, we're not done with the timer yet. Still got 3 minutes on the timer, and that's after 28 deaths. So realistically, we had like 5 or so minutes left before this timer was actually over. And then the guy's just gonna DC instead of leave. I mean, could have just waited. Literally could have waited a few minutes and then left. So they're actually talking about reporting the guy. Report for boosting / deranking. That's, again, talked about so much. Like, I don't know what else to report him for. It's the only option. So one way or the other, I think the whole go offline thing is just really not fair. And I think this is the #1 loophole that needs to be addressed. If you are offline for more than a few minutes in a key and the key fails because of that, that should count as a leave. I think it needs to be that way, because if you have this happen enough that you would get the debuff, then you deserve to get the debuff, right? Like, it's not fair that you go offline a lot. That's not fair to the other people. Even if it's an accident, even if it's something beyond your control, it's still your responsibility to be online. But anyway, we'll come back to that conversation because they're actually talking about continuing. And the way they're going to do that is because the DPS warrior, who's actually normally a tank, is going to switch to tanking. So Cop is under the impression that the guy is lying about this. And I don't think that's the case. I'm going to take a minute here. We're going to take a look at the guy's character. So as you see, he doesn't even have all the keys done on this character. You look at the boss kills. He has 6 of 8 heroic, but only has 6 kills. So that means he probably just did it once. Probably not rating on this character, right? I think that's the big thing. Probably actually on an alt and logging off that character to go on another character. And that, especially that, I think really should not be allowed. If you are in a dungeon on a character, there needs to be a restriction for you logging on another character. It's one thing to log off and leave and say like, all right, well, it's an emergency. I'm going. I don't really care. But to actually just be like, all right, I'm logging off that character now, and that's like not punished. That's ridiculous loophole. That definitely needs to be addressed. Now, the funny part is he leaves the party here. I assume they just kick him. The timer is now over, so I assume that means that you can just kick the guy. And I don't necessarily know why he gets kicked. I think it might be because of Cop's comment here. It says, if we finish it, we keep Raid Boy offline. And so that's what I was saying. I think Cop believes he is lying about this. Anyway, they are going to continue this key. We're not done watching Medellin die. No idea. I mean, this guy just doesn't live ever. Now, funny, Cop comes up here mistakenly thinking that for some reason they're onto this boss. I'm not sure why he even comes up here. And this is why he thought he was lying, because he thinks he's actually back online here and he's AFK. Now, this is an interesting question because it's been a while. As you see by the timer, it's been like, what, 7 or 8 minutes since he's gone offline here? Why is his character still here? It does actually raise the question. I don't know. It's still clickable. You can still see his score. You can still interact with it. Is the character supposed to still be here? I have no idea. Cop thinks that he's lying and he's actually just back online and he's just sitting here. I try to give these guys the benefit of the doubt, man, because it doesn't make a lot of sense for him to do this, especially considering the key's now over. He's not even in the group anymore. Why would he still be here? Maybe a bug. I don't know what you'd call it, but I don't think it's supposed to be that this guy is still actually here. Anyway, we just got to look at this guy. He's going to die one more time. I just can't get enough of watching this guy die. He just never lives. I don't understand. Like, Hunter's squishy. I don't know. People keep talking about Hunter. I don't know. I don't know if like because of that we wipe. I'm not even really sure what happens here, but it's just like harder with 4 people, obviously, right? So they're going to fail to kill the ads. Ads are probably causing problems. Boss doing shadowing decay again, and we're just going to have a full wipe here to this. And then like during the fight, the now tank former DPS player party leader is going to say like, all right, forget it. I'm done. And they're going to be done. So they're back up here, right? Okay, so now it's been really long, right? Now it's been like 10 minutes. The character is still here. I don't know what this is. I need some explanations on this. So this one, we're just going to give him the benefit of the doubt and assume that there's something weird going on with it. That's why his character is still in the dungeon here. I mean, maybe it's a Dawnbreaker bug. You never know. But still, it raises the question, what's next? What's next for this voting system? Because it's obvious that people are seeking every loophole in the book. And then that begs the question, like, is he still here? Why is this character in the dungeon? I don't understand any of it. Like, he was able to be kicked from the party, but the character's still in the dungeon. I don't understand any of it. Let me know what you guys think about this. But yeah, let's brainstorm. Because obviously there's going to be a second iteration of this. A lot of people believe the second iteration is it going to be removed. You know, obviously I don't want to see that. Obviously I don't believe that, but I do see why people are saying that, because it's not going well. Like, it doesn't look like it's going well. I personally believe that it is exposing these people, and that is good for us. We want to see them in this element. We want to know who they are so we could avoid them. But there's so many examples of people just leaving keys but not getting the debuff that it's almost like, okay, well, this has to go back to the drawing board. I don't know. Let me know what you guys think about that. Let me know what you guys think about this guy being still in the key. And yeah, we'll see you guys tomorrow for another banger. Thanks for watching. Thanks for submitting, Cop. Make sure you guys keep sending them in. Thank you for watching. We'll see you guys in the next video.